Yeah, we are live.
I think we got that frame, Sohan. So well done.
Yeah.
I think the minute people will open the stream, it's the first thing is this. चलो सही है. So, what do we have in the lunch today, Sohan? What are we cooking today?
So today we will use this interactive brain visualizer to and some other resources obviously to understand the neuroscience behind sadness
Yeah.
and
And
hopefully
as a disclaimer,
navigate.
none of like I think we should give a disclaimer कि हम में से कोई sad नहीं है. It's just that we are curious about how it works. We we
We're
all are
curious about
fairly
sadness.
You are
yeah.
just curious about sadness कि
कि
दुखी
होती
कैसे
क्यों है
होते
यार?
हैं लोग.
Yeah. How it impacts the brain. So I think Sharath is here for the first time. So Sharath, आपको कुछ हमें बोलना है, कुछ करना है.
बस joining the adventure देखा जाए.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I will publicly say this कि हमने एक नया feature add करा है,
Yeah.
which is we can now change graphical settings to boost FPS.
Hmm.
ठीक है, it will not look as good, but it will look pretty good still and boost your FPS
And
really well.
it will load lighter, right? It's easier for
Yes.
other devices.
Yes. So पहले our payload was 15 MB, now it's down to 5 MB for the same range. Like even
Nice.
in high settings, it's now compressed. And I did not use any custom knowledge. I let the AI figure out, and it used something called Mesh Lab to like it doesn't look any different, but it
Hmm.
has reduced the meshes from 15 million to I think 3 or 4, like 1 million or something, and it doesn't look any different.
Okay.
ठीक है. So yeah, that is something, and we can also now see this structures very clearly. Like
Oh, this is
yeah,
nice.
Without fluid.
Yeah.
yeah. No, so this if you look at this ventricle blue color के, this is where the क्या बोलते हैं इसको CSF बोलते हैं. CSF को full form क्या था?
We can check.
Cerebrospinal fluid is where these
Okay.
stay, these accumulate. I was learning while I was building this. Okay.
And
Anyways.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
TIL.
what does it do?
It so yeah.
Cushions, right?
Apparently, I was looking at some videos. I was planning to add those videos in the right hand panel also. Is
Oh,
that
that can be a good way.
You did
yeah?
show a version of that, right? Like it loads some of the useful, important videos, reference videos.
Yes. I was showing this to Sharath when I was prototyping. It's not production ready yet,
Nice.
but production ready bole to I'm not comfortable putting it because the code base it will get messed.
Yeah.
But what cerebrospinal fluid does is very important. It's
Hmm.
like a watery liquid that surrounds your brain, like all
It's
across
the
the brain.
cushion.
Uh-huh.
It's the protection. It's the cushion.
It's the cushion. So brain is almost 1.5 kg in weight in adult males and 1.2 1.3 kg in adult females. So if you look at the spine, it can't support all that weight,
Hmm.
right? So what the fluid does is it fills the remaining space and literally suspends the brain in water so that
Hmm.
the effective weight that the spine has to support is only 50 grams,
Hmm.
right? Because when you move up and down, the brain kind of like it's kind of acts as a shock absorber, your brain shock absorber, and the brain kind of moves around, right? Due to that liquid. So the neck doesn't have to support all that weight,
Yeah.
Hmm.
right?
Okay.
It's
So
it's it's like you're lighter in the pool.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. And also
Buoyancy.
yeah, and also it like there is a whole circulation system apparently that kind of supports with ions, minerals, and all sorts of thing.
Hmm.
uh, that's kind of what cerebrospinal fluid does.
Fascinating.
Cool. Great. I think that's a good start with something learning new.
Yeah, so
TIL हो
now
गया.
हाँ TIL हो गया.
T-
It's like class is over now.
Yeah. For me, it
Yeah.
was YIL. Yesterday I learned.
Chalo, let's
Uh,
go. Uh,
mhm,
yeah. So I think maybe uh,
mhm.
first of all, should we just try to understand from theory standpoint, how does the sadness impact the brain?
Sure.
Is that
Do I ask
first?
an AI or do I ask Google?
I
Same thing,
think
no?
जेमिनाई को पूछ ले तो
जेमिनाई
तेरा
को
दोनों
पूछ ले.
का बैलेंस हो जाएगा.
ठीक है. So it's saying hi Sohan. By the way, that's my
I think
Google name.
background में we should play Enigma's song Sadness.
बट कॉपीराइट लग जाएगा ना. मैं यूट्यूब में भी डाला हूँ इस.
आई एम जस्ट थिंकिंग हमारे को कोई कॉपीराइट मारेगा, उसके पास टाइम कितना है दुनिया में.
अरे नहीं नहीं
नहीं नहीं.
नहीं,
ऑटोमेटेड
लोग
सिस्टम
करते
है.
हैं.
अच्छा.
So what do we ask? Explain me the neuroscience behind
Sadness.
sadness, and also explain it both functionally and anatomically, so that is more illustrative. So I have to ask this because I have planned for a future. Sorry, feature is this is anatomical atlas. So it, if you see this part, is called uh, precentral gyrus or
Hmm.
gyrus. It but in functional terms, it's called the motor cortex, right? So that's motor means movement. So that's
Hmm.
but this one is just anatomical.
Hmm.
So yeah, okay, anatomical breakdown. So do I read this out?
I think we can all like quickly scan
Yeah,
through
we
it.
can just say, yeah.
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 Okay. I'm actually surprised that there is a connection between limbic system and like the cortex part. Matlab. I thought maybe cortex might not be involved, but interesting.
No, but the whole brain is kind of connected.
Huh, but again, so if you look at the first part, right? So it's a two main layers involved in sadness. So I thought it's always gonna be the limbic system and
Mm-hmm.
maybe some part of hippocampus might be get impacted because
Mm-hmm.
there is a certain feeling of past, right? अच्छा ऐसा हुआ था
Sorry.
or whatever, right?
Hmm.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
We'll read more on that.
Hmm. But I think the limbic system and all this does not come into our conscious processing. So
Huh.
if the sadness has to flow into our conscious processing, then it somehow has to come into the cortexes. Is
Fair,
like
fair.
I'm
Hmm.
guessing. The amygdala usually associate. Okay, I'll shut up.
Yeah, it's good. पढ़ ले.
Okay, the amygdala usually associated with fear in sadness. In sadness, the amygdala acts as the alert siren. It detects a negative event, loss, rejection, failure, and signals emotional significance to the rest of the brain.
Hmm.
Then the hippocampus, the librarian, it retrieves the memories associated with the loss. I remember how happy we were at that place in chronic sadness. In chronic sadness, this area can actually shrink due to stress hormones. Oh, wow.
Hmm. Okay.
And the thalamus, the relay
Hmm.
station, it takes sensory information and routes it to the emotional centers.
आंखों ही आंखों में इशारा हो गया.
If there is a capital city for sadness in the brain, this is it. Located deep in the frontal lobe, this small region becomes hyperactive during sadness. It acts
Hmm.
as bridge between the deep emotional brain and the thinking brain. Okay.
Hmm.
Subgenual anterior cingulate to SGSEC. Okay. The
Sounds like a
thinking.
committee name.
Yeah. So where is SGSSC? It asked for SGSSC, but it did not, like the image it picked. It does not have SGSSC anywhere.
Not even on top.
No. It's deep in the frontal lobe. So somewhere around here, right? Deep in the frontal lobe,
Hmm.
right? So इसके अंदर कहीं पे होगा. Uh,
We can actually ask later on to play a diagram for that particular part of the
अच्छा,
brain.
नीचे होगा देखो, नीचे नीचे. Does it
नहीं.
Uh,
mention there?
These are all Shutterstock, random Shutterstock images, to be honest.
अच्छा,
Yes.
Prefrontal cortex, the frontal lobe. Now here is the CEO. Normally, its job is to regulate emotions. During intense sadness, the connection between prefrontal cortex and the emotional center weakens. The CEO loses control of the room, making it harder to snap out of it.
okay.
What an analogy, Sarji.
The body is silent. I think, but in the part of sadness, there is also the part of, let's say, your nervous system can feel that sometime, right? कि when there is an intense sadness, पूरे body पे वो impact दिखता होगा. So I'm
Hmm.
assuming that can go just beyond the brain, and I think that's what I think ये
I
वही
think
point.
this is the insula does, right? If you read this part of the brain
Yeah,
moves
very
in during
fascinating.
sadness. It is responsible for the visceral feeling of sadness, the heartache, the heavy chest, or the pit in your stomach, because all of these are processed by your brain.
Hmm. This
Now
is
I
so
think,
fascinating.
but I think this can also means that, let's say, there can be a different reaction to breakup, to something different, to job loss or whatever, right?
Hmm.
I mean, we can actually, go deeper and deeper into each emotion because
Right.
every sadness is very different from something else, right?
Very
So,
true.
You mean like the spectrum of sadness?
हाँ, मतलब there can be certain spectrum which is extremely intense for someone, and there can be like something अच्छा मेरा ये chocolate गिर गया, right? That's not like a sadness, but that's just a feeling for a second or a two.
Hmm.
But something like कि अरे मेरी job चली गई आज, right? That's a extreme level of कि अरे it's combination of multiple emotions, not just sadness.
Hmm.
I
Yeah.
think this can
Rage.
actually
It can contain rage,
and it can
anger,
also
sadness.
and it can also change, like 5-10 years back. No, 10 years back ज़्यादा हो गया. 7 years back, if I would drop a cigarette, I would feel very sad. Now I don't even pick up a cigarette anymore. So
okay.
the feeling also, I think, changes over time.
Your brain is happy.
Yeah.
Acha, opioids.
Neurochemical shift. This molecule, okay.
But Sharad, जो आपने अभी बोला ना rage वाला point, I think that is so interesting that how sadness can turn into rage, and
Yeah.
sadness has a different variation how it translates. Right? So I
Yeah.
think
Uh-huh.
rage
Shall we
is common.
ask it as a follow up?
Yeah, I think we should actually. Ki, what are the maybe next emotion that can be triggered? I mean, by sadness.
But I think I would first go and show
Huh.
what are the different parts are, right? I
Yes,
go
let's do
full
that first.
brain view and I search for I think that function is not working properly. So I have to look for the amygdala, cerebellum, I think
Amygdala must be
thalamus.
limbic system or कहीं पे
Yeah,
ना?
yeah.
Yes.
If I go for the limbic system, the red ones are amygdala.
Okay.
If I
Okay, so
disable
it's
these two
somewhere
layers, yeah.
interesting. यार शरद आपको है ना हमारा फर्स्ट वर्जन ऑफ ब्रेन देखना चाहिए था. हम जब ये बिल्ड कर रहे थे ना, आई डोंट नो सोहन इफ यू स्टिल हैव दैट
Cactus. I
image.
have a
Cactus. He showed me also.
those hairy ball brain.
हम लोग मतलब दोनों इतना कोशिश कर रहे थे कि स्ट्रीम पे हम लोग कुछ ज्यादा ना बोले, And it was such a खतरनाक visual.
अभी भी वही ट्राई कर रहे हो
शुद्ध
भाई.
शुद्ध शुद्ध सोचो, शुद्ध बोलो.
Yeah. So then the behind this posterior parts are the hippocampus.
Hmm.
Looks like the turbo afterburners.
Yeah.
है ना?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, it does.
And then you have the thalamus, which is this
Yeah. Okay.
What was that deep in the frontal lobe wala thing? Insula, right? Where do we
insula.
click on insula?
Frontal
There,
lobe पे
it was there. It was there. Niche, niche,
कहाँ?
blue.
Yeah.
Tangent. No, it's the.
Other
Oh,
के
हाँ,
ऊपर.
insula.
Yeah.
It,
Ooh. Acha.
that's why it's a deep, मतलब काफी अंदर की तरफ है.
Looks
Yeah.
quite thin also, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Comparatively, I mean.
Is it part of the prefrontal cortex or कहाँ का part है ये? Insula.
Uh, I think different atlases classify them differently. This
Okay.
one is following DK atlas.
Yeah.
There is another DKT and Sharath, you pronounce the other one, Doistro.
Okay. उधर देख मतलब there's this written deeply folded cortex
That's true.
involved in consciousness.
कहाँ पे?
Sorry.
Oh, sorry,
Right.
sorry, sorry.
जो स्क्रीन पे on the right
हम्म,
मतलब जहाँ पे ये है ना अपना
हम्म,
info वाला बार हाँ तो
हम्म.
involved in consciousness and what the hell is homostasis?
Homeostasis. Homeostasis is keeping your body in a balance,
Okay.
right? So your body
Vertigo.
tries
No,
to.
that's different.
The
No,
primary function
homeostasis
is
is like,
emotion, right? So emotion, I'm
yeah,
assuming every part of an emotion.
yeah. So not just emotion, but if like it's like a equilibrium, right? Like if you have more water
Hmm.
this side, this water this side, your body tries to balance like electrolyte balance से लेके सब कुछ, and I think that is homeostasis.
Hmm. Yeah, and I think even pain perception, right? Matlab, I think
Yeah.
the level of threat, which is like sort of measured by the brain in a certain
Hmm.
situation,
Yeah.
that can also lead to like multiple reactions. Matlab.
Yeah.
So that should also
I'm
be looked at.
curious about the connection between, the sort of mental state of being stoic and
Hmm.
sadness. Like, it feels like being stoic is kind of like a muscle you train,
Mm-hmm.
like a state you want to reach after sadness. But I wonder, where does that get triggered in the brain?
Yeah.
कि हाँ भाई, हो गया है, पानी ब्रिज के नीचे से निकल गया है, अब कर ही क्या सकते हैं.
But
Yeah.
then
So.
also there's a question, Sharath, right? Ki is stoic like a permanent wavelength of the brain, or is it certain situational based? जब वो आता है कि let's say if I face a difficult situation, तब I am able to just cope up with those with certain mindset. So I'm assuming everybody cannot be like on a flat line all the time. कि मैं हमेशा एकदम ही calm हूँ. I also feel now stoicism can have a let's say multiple compartments. For example, I am very much in control with my let's say professional life. In personal life, I might not be in that much control.
Hmm.
So would I say कि okay, I'm a stoic in my professional reactions versus rage in my personal reactions? People, I am assuming I have seen those behaviors with people, right?
Nice. That's a
Yeah,
really curious take.
yeah. Because I feel that way, interestingly, because everybody have a why that's why we say ना कि अच्छा ये ऑफिस में बहुत अलग होता है, घर पे बहुत अलग होता है, पार्टीज में बहुत अलग होता है, right?
True.
So I am assuming it's the same thing with like any state of mind, right? Stoicism ले लो आप या कुछ भी ले लो.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that can be a fun मतलब
I
thing
think
to do.
maybe और भी पढ़ना पड़ेगा, but my limited understanding about stoicism was like it's probably this underlying state of being, and
Hmm.
so irrespective you know how to respond. So it doesn't mean like you won't respond to a happy situation,
Yeah,
you won't respond to a sad situation, but you won't just go over the board for any one of them.
yeah.
Like जो है खुश है
Uh,
तो
So
खुश है.
so is so is stoicism, you might say कि is like some sort of like neuroscience तरीके से वो देखा जाए, just speculating here, uh,
uh,
like like the brain either deals with lack of homeostasis somewhat better, like it doesn't try to fight the homeostasis as much, sorry, the
Mm.
imbalance as much, or maybe a higher threshold of like emotional pain. Like there are parts that respond to certain signals of pain. Is the brain kind of tries to decouple that pain by like raising the threshold?
mm,
This is such a I mean clearly it's a very deep subject now, because then now we are going to pain regulation and tolerance and uh,
Yeah.
हथौड़ा मारा तो चीका नहीं, तो
Yeah.
कांटा मारा तो चीख लिया,
Yeah.
ईगो पे लग गया.
Yeah.
I think, one thing that I think we could have actually also maybe studied pain before sadness, because
Hmm.
pain is also one of the core emotion before sadness, maybe.
How is pain and sadness related is a good follow up, no?
Yeah,
Yeah, actually,
yeah.
perspective.
Yeah.
So I'll look at the functional aspect of sadness.
Hmm.
So serotonin drops. This molecule regulates mood and anxiety. When it drops, the threshold for pain lowers, making you feel more vulnerable and irritable. Okay. Dopamine plummets. Dopamine drives motivation and reward. Okay. When it drops, the world looks gray. You lose the drive to seek out new things. Anhedonia, which encourages the withdrawal behavior typical of sadness. Nice. Then you have opioids and social pain. The brain uses the exact same opioid pathways for social rejection slash loss as it does for physical pain. Okay.
No one liked my post.
I got hit in the head with a baseball. Functionally, a breakup or a death hurts because your brain processes it like a physical injury.
That's actually a very interesting one.
For
Yeah.
me, it was very interesting to see that the insula is responsible for that heaviness that accompanies sadness, and this heaviness is such a physical feeling, right? It's like कि दिल
Yeah.
भारी हो गया यार. मतलब,
Uh,
you just feel like you
hmm.
can't even move.
Yeah.
No, I don't know
That
if
was
you guys have
fascinating.
felt this, matlab, but let's say if there's a certain project going on, और अगर वो project ठीक है somehow fail होता है, I think that's the same pain that you feel so heavy, you just can't describe, but you just feel that physical weight on your head. कि अरे यार,
Yep.
मतलब, the world is over now, kind of vibes.
Yeah.
Like, I
Oh, I'm
think,
curious now if we have to explore next. So, there's a certain, since you use the word threshold, J, uh, beyond a certain threshold, the sadness and also pain to some degree leads to numbness.
Hmm.
So there's a element of shock sometimes, or there is a element of acceptance,
Hmm.
hmm,
both of which are relative in their the degree of numbness.
hmm.
Just curious if you guys want to explore that.
And I
Yeah,
think numbness
definitely.
can also lead to, I feel that part of not giving reactions, because you
Mm.
are neither happy, neither sad most of the time. And I think it happens a lot with people in tech in general who actually deal with a lot of stress, right? कि उनका हैप्पीनेस भी ही होता है, सैडनेस भी ओहो टाइप का होता है, राइट? तो there's no
Think
reaction.
about another perspective, right? Think about the people who have to regulate content in social media.
Yeah.
The bad kind of content and the exposure to that continuous onslaught of negativity or just brutalism or whatever it is. Imagine their state, like it's experiencing someone else's pain, someone else's sadness, and like then leading to a certain numbness as well.
Mhm.
And then when you think about people who train, like people, soldiers, right? Navy SEALs, commandos. Uh, yeah, but again, that goes away from sadness completely.
Yeah.
But does it? Like, I think it is a sort of sensory overload or emotional overload that leads to numbness. Is it really that different from like sadness overload leading to numbness?
I mean, I can only talk about
Yeah.
experience of reading stories of these, like these espionage war stories, and where soldiers, I think only after their first real shot, there's that sense of sadness, there's that overwhelming whatever they describe, and then dire dire, it's like when you're a sniper, you're just sniper, you're just taking a breath, and in the middle of those breaths, you take a life. तो
Yeah.
sadness का कहा गया, like sadness suppress हो जाता है वहाँ पे.
Hmm.
Yeah.
And maybe that's what becomes PTSD, right? It keeps going and
I was
simmering,
actually
simmering,
just going to
simmering.
that part ki what translates to PTSD matlab. So I think this is the I think stage matlab in this.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So
PTSD
could
कहाँ
it?
से आता है भाई? मतलब where does
So I'll form my hypothesis like this, and I'm sure it's already been explored, but I am not aware of it. I would
we are
say
brand new bakras.
the sadness signal does get generated, but doesn't reach the conscious processing due to some threshold, which then like forms as PTSD in the cortex as those signals kind of accumulate and increase.
This
Like
sparked another thought. So when sometimes what happens is when sadness hits with a certain
intensity.
intensity, then there is also adrenaline that suppresses it, and then you have to get through the situation or the event, right? It could be, in an extremely dangerous situation. You've already experienced or seen a certain loss, or
Mm-hmm.
you're experiencing something that just disgusts you at a level of, yeah, like it triggers sadness.
Mm-hmm.
But then you just have to deal with the situation, and so then that gets the adrenaline just suppresses that somewhere. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
adrenaline and sadness kya hoga?
But I
Yeah.
don't know if you guys observed this kya ki before any sort of let's say physical violence, I am assuming there
Mm-hmm.
is this pre-stage of something like a rage, and
Mm-hmm.
before that rage, it's potentially some sort of a sadness or a disappointment
Hmm.
that leads to some sort of a physical violence that we do, right? Because now when I'm just thinking about it, violence ke pehle there is this extreme emotion of some sort of disappointment.
Hmm.
कि यार something is just not going my way, or what is this.
Mm-hmm.
में एक फ्रेम चल रहा है फिलहाल. Imagine a frame that somebody is very pissed at a bar, okay, and somebody decide to start like throwing away the bottles and everything. So
Hmm.
उसके पहले वो trigger कौन सा emotion हुआ है? And is it just the sadness, or like combination of disappointment and sadness with something else in his life or her life for that matter?
Right.
I think violence is not like a very easy emotion to understand because it can like be of multiple combinations.
Mm-hmm.
एंड जो मुझे बहुत लोग मतलब lot of people keep talking about कि बचपन से कुछ लोग violent होते हैं, ये होता है, वो होता है. But where is
Mm-hmm.
that violence coming from? Is it coming from the core emotion of sadness, fear, or what?
Hmm.
Uh,
Hard to say.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
So I have put out those notes. Like there was Sharat's curiosity around stoicism, then too much sadness leading to numbness, pain versus sadness, and then I put this weird hypothesis, and then I put your note on sadness related to physical balance. How does that happen? All of
I
them are
think this thing, I would be very curious about the adrenaline part also. That, as I think
Hmm.
certain people, how they develop it depends on how they probably experience their growing years. But
Hmm.
there's a way in which they can not respond to sadness and they can regulate it.
Hmm.
And at some levels, this is what soldiers are, I think, trained to do.
Hmm.
Like
Hmm.
situationally, you have to deal with what's around.
Yeah.
So you process it later. You compartmentalize it somewhere else.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, the good scenario is that कि let's say a soldier, troop में किसी को उसे गोली लग चुकी है. They are trying to feel the extreme emotion कि अरे इसको गोली लग गई है मेरे, sort of,
यार को. Hmm.
यार. And but they still have to be in the moment and fight it out till the time
Hmm.
they can come back and say, oh, what the fuck happened, right? So
Yeah,
I,
yeah.
yeah,
Hmm.
very interesting. And this is like a sort of can of worms, which can,
Yeah.
like so much
Rabbit hole, boss.
extreme rabbit hole chal raha hai. And I think we have not even started going to even different part
Yeah.
of questions yet. But this is pretty cool, man. Matlab, wow, so much to think about.
Like I had this, you know, like I was reading this interesting book many, many years ago, but I saw this book recently at someone's place again. And it's called Many Lives, Many Masters. And it has stuff to talk about things like past life regression. Uh, I'm not referring to that specifically, but I started thinking about, the people who go through multiple personality disorder, schizophrenia. Uh,
Mhm.
so how does sadness play? Like how does the brain really operate when it's shifting personalities, and like there's a
I
core
think
personality
it's
that's
more for
feeling
people.
sad that किसी और ने मेरा जगह ले लिया है.
I think
क्या
with
ढूंढ रहा
that
है भाई?
separate stream, like pura neuroscience of like mental disorders. But I assume that whenever we do that stream, we bring in an expert also who understand
Of
that
course,
world,
man.
right? Because that
Yeah.
is like a very different world altogether.
I'm like
Yeah,
a fumbling
yeah,
kindergarten character here.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
In terms of neuroscience, I think probably both. I'm me as well. I just built the tool. So yeah, but it's fascinating that it has written कि adrenaline acts as a biological override switch for sadness. If sadness is
Hmm.
slow, heavy software update that slow heavy software update that
That's
requires
such a cool analogy.
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, adrenaline is emergency power mode.
Hmm.
Hmm.
The locus, the LC, okay, Corelius, Cor- Corulius. This is a tiny spot.
Cornelius.
Yeah,
Do you think you can find that on your, image on the 3D, the LC?
I
Just copy that.
I don't think the search function is working. I,
Acha, acha.
mm,
Or maybe this is just too deep into that system, right? It's not
yeah,
something
yeah.
that's been covered. Has it ever been scanned? We don't know.
The locus. No, if it's mentioning, so I think it should be in the Doistro Atlas, not in this one.
है ना वहाँ पे देख, it's connected to the spinal cord.
So it's inside the brainstem, right? As you
Oh,
can see. So this is the locus. So I think it only my thing only like our thing only identifies the brainstem. It should be inside this, but this is the ventricle, so it should be inside there somewhere. You need a higher resolution scan to see this.
इसको क्या हो गया?
किसको?
जे dropped off.
Oh, don't know. I think he'll join back. Let me check my phone.
You're
He
having
said
dinner?
oof. Yeah, इसलिए कैमरा
Sorry,
ऑफ है मेरा.
what were you saying just now?
I don't know. He said oof and disconnected. Not picking up also.
Message.
हेलो अरे ब्रो यहाँ पे पावर कट हो गया रुक जा आई एम ट्राइंग टू फिगर आउट
ठीक है.
हेलो
ठीक है
The
भाई.
most obvious situation.
ज्वाइन किया
ठीक है.
या बाय
ब्रेकिंग न्यूज, अहमदाबाद में बिजली चली गई है.
Wow, across the board. Is it
नहीं नहीं
news though?
नहीं, मैं मजाक कर रहा हूँ.
अच्छा,
हाँ, तो ये है.
अच्छा स्ट्रीम पे टैग किए हो क्या मेरे को?
आई डोंट थिंक सो, बिकॉज सेम स्ट्रीम जस्ट पहले मेरे को एडिट करना था.
अच्छा ठीक है,
I'll try to
कोई
edit.
बात नहीं.
कहाँ गया वो?
I was thinking उसको मैं हाँ आ गया ना. Someone who's hosting Neuroscience of Sadness. Oof,
क्या?
दिख गया.
या ओ, ये एडिट नहीं
Plus
करने
one
देता
नहीं.
है. जस्ट आई कैन डिलीट.
हाँ.
हाँ.
Oh, there's 5 people watching अपना
या
हीरो जय. One of the other sadness parts that I found appealing is the whole buyer's remorse. कि कुछ खरीद लिया फिर जाके पता लगाया कि केला हुआ है कि नहीं.
या
Like
आई
sometimes we
बॉट अ
just
सैमसंग गैलेक्सी S10 प्लस.
uh,
मैं उतनी यूज नहीं कर रहा हूँ, तो मुझे बाहर रिमोर्स हो रहा है.
अच्छा, not even to read graphic novels.
पढ़ता कहाँ हूँ मैं उतना?
अरे I thought you would be reading it on the journey.
नहीं, जर्नी में पढ़ा हूँ. But also I was really sleep deprived, so I just slept the whole flight.
Of course, yeah.
And
It's
on the train.
interesting, given that you constantly refer to gaming, like you're interested in sort of studying how gaming is designed. Clearly, they have to also sometimes induce sadness in the design, right? So triggers you towards some sort of motivated rebounds.
Yeah. And no, not that also. Sometimes they just leave you hanging sad. If you have played Red Dead Redemption 2, you'll know it. If not, I would. And if you haven't played and you don't have plans to play, I'll give you the spoiler. Otherwise, I'll save it.
I mean, there are others who are watching, so don't want to mess with their. But
Yeah,
RDR has just been released on Netflix as well, so I guess
yeah, but
it's now a tablet playable game.
yeah. So RDR is on mobile now,
Hmm.
but RDR 2 is the game like where the protagonist Arthur, like it's you are playing as Arthur
Hmm.
and you face all his sadnesses that he faces. Like I think this is just the fascinating part, that how we can temporarily adopt another personality, right?
Hmm. I mean, that's the whole point of a media entertainment world, also, no? The induced sadness of someone else's experience.
Yeah,
Like you feel
yeah,
bad for a character. मतलब
yeah,
इसीलिए
and
तो लोग कभी कभी मूवी देख के रोते पड़ जाते हैं मतलब.
yeah, yeah,
Hmm.
but also like here you feel like it's your actions, like my own actions leading to these consequences. I know it's pre-programmed or whatever, right? But still, like I fight a whole things, but couldn't save someone. Like that was the mission, right? Like there is a level where your job is to save someone, and no matter what you do, you will fail that mission.
Hmm.
The whole point of that mission is to fail with the highest achievements.
जीतते हुए हार गए.
like yeah, you almost save it and you fail the mission is when you clear the mission, right? So they have like Rockstar games, like have some Rockstar game developers as well.
Seriously, right?
Yeah,
वो क्या सुनजू ने बोला था क्या? Lose a battle to win a war.
yeah,
Induce the pain of a
yeah,
battle loss.
exactly.
बाप रे, humans, man. No wonder we are where we are.
Yeah, like
Phew.
I think more than the individual intelligence, the collective intelligence I think is like really really strong. Like I think it's that guy, no, who
इसलिए when
keeps
people
talking
talk
about.
about, this sort of this era that we are entering in, and job loss and all of that, I'm like, bloody humans are resilient.
Yep.
कुछ ना कुछ तो निकल के आएगा. Like we will do something.
Yeah, I am pretty confident of that as well. Like I think even I had those conversations at one point, right? Ki, like the I believe we are not tapping into much of our cognitive ceiling,
Hmm.
so to say, and when the environment forces us to, we are capable of tapping into that.
Hmm. And sadly, a lot of what's being designed and built also is to hijack that capability further.
But I learned today that like social media usage is dropping among Gen Z.
Are you serious?
Yep.
That counters the whole TikTok use argument, no?
Sorry, I'm eating something. Mm,
Uh-huh. Belt happy chewing.
hmm.
Like TikTok,
Hmm.
there's no drop in TikTok usage. Maybe Facebook, because all the buzurg log are on Facebook.
No, I think it was social media usage in Gen Z specifically. I can pull
Hmm.
the like till J rate here. Gen Z social media usage drop. So
Oof.
trends like
Cory Doctorow's enshitification is mainstream now. I love that. That's a book you should read, man. It's insane. So good.
I will. I like I'll turn on the camera. I have taken a taken one of the books you have gifted and kept it very close to me. Second, I am
But you left
started to.
you left the gaming, the
Yeah, yeah.
oh
This
yeah,
one I'm reading.
the murder on the moon.
Spoiler दे दिए.
मतलब पीछे तो है यार. It starts with that.
Yes. लोगों को. So there is trend like posting zero.
Oh yeah, I did see this TikTok post of I
Mm-hmm.
think a teen uh, keeping a camera recording themselves,
Mm-hmm.
but sitting and actually with a timer on the side, not doing
Mm-hmm.
anything for 10 minutes, and supposedly like recording and posting that as the detox.
Oh.
I remember seeing this. Yeah, yeah, yeah. That became a trend, and I was like, dude, like then why record yourself? Like just be in
Mm-hmm.
the moment. No, oh, don't
Mm-hmm.
bother about being recorded and then telling the world I detoxed.
Yeah, and you see, like a lot of it is because of bots, right? And
Hmm.
I think I personally moved away from LinkedIn because of that. Like,
Really?
moved away from consuming LinkedIn content.
Because of bots?
Like, there are so many people who just copy paste from ChatGPT and it just turns
Sure,
me off.
of course. Yeah, yeah. The slop.
Yeah, the slop.
Hmm.
Like,
Of
if
course.
someone like I have also received like so many DMs from like some LinkedIn people like trying to uh trying to like
Sound very
profile me.
intelligent.
Yeah, like they will refer like, hey, you're like, because my LinkedIn still has LinkedIn like ume.live, not Mimbu. It's like they go to ume.live, like the bot kind of figures things out and says, oh, ume.live पे ये है वो है, like you can use our services.
Yeah, yeah. I still get those pings about Eder Labs. Can you believe that?
Wow.
Even now. It's wild.
By the way, t-shirt,
I,
sorry, hoodie.
I saw that. I saw that. I know. Like that was a good quality hoodie, dude. Like I love that hoodie. Really
Yeah,
awesome
yeah.
quality.
Like I wear it not because of the brand, but because how comfortable it is.
It is
Thank you.
damn comfortable.
Uh, so this is like I don't know what the solution might be, but I believe like we would rather tolerate annoying people than perfect AI.
Hmm. I think a curious exploration we should do is around, man's favorite sins and
Yeah,
sadness.
and
Like
sadness.
clearly there's a trigger in all of them, right?
Yeah.
बहुत खा लिया, बहुत कुछ कर लिया, बहुत पैसे उड़ा दिए, बहुत पैसे के
एक
पीछे
एक दो
भाग गए,
एक दो सेंसर्ड होगा.
एक दो
एक
सेंसर्ड हो गए,
बहुत कर लिया.
बहुत कर लिया. कहाँ जैसा वापस नहीं आए, लोग सोचेंगे हगने गए हो.
मे बी वही कर रहे हैं. बोल दिया पावर पावर कट.
पावर सप्लाई के बारे में. Curious. Another curious thought is, as someone who reads sci-fi so much,
Mm-hmm.
uh, a lot of sci-fi naturally trends towards dystopian futures.
Hmm.
And so when you're reading, invariably it's either you're relating to a character's sadness or the situational sadness,
Mm-hmm.
of a given species or the protagonist or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And so, what does that say about those who read science fiction and are constantly exposed to the all the mess that humans can continue to create even in
Mm-hmm.
glorious futures?
Yeah.
And shitification.
Enshittification. But also, like you are also talking about that day about solar punk sci-fi, right?
Hope punk. Hmm.
Hope punk. Yes.
Yeah,
Where
yeah.
like these things are like, how do they end? Like, is it like some happy ever after kind of?
Depends. Depends on the author. So I think one of the trailblazers in that spectrum
Mm-hmm.
is Becky Chambers, and
Mm-hmm.
like her books are very hope punkish. There's these are really thin books. It's called the Monk and the Robo series. Like it's literally a slice of life
Mm-hmm.
discussion between a monk and a
Mm-hmm.
robot.
Okay.
Uh, yeah, it's I won't reveal much, but like it starts with a psalm for the wild built.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, Highly recommended. Like it's very beautiful. There's another written by her as well. Is called "To Be Taught If Fortunate."
To
So
be taught.
there's a lot of if
Wow.
fortunate. It's again really thin book.
Mm-hmm.
I would say it's hard sci-fi in simple language, but it's also like there's a melancholy to it, and so
Okay.
melancholy and sadness you'll connect because then you're philosophizing a little bit about humanity and anyway. It'll go
Nice.
too
No,
deep.
no, I'm fascinated. I'm like not disinterested. Like I'm so fascinated. I'm thinking what it could be. I will like. Are these books there in your
Uh-huh. I
library?
Yeah, in my library, yeah, all of them.
Yeah. So I will. Oh, is it those books that you requested me to ship somewhere? Like it.
Oh, those are hilarious. No, 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 no. That's
Okay.
yeah, Vishwa borrowed that entire series. That's the Murderbot series. That's
Not
hilarious.
about. Yes.
There's a Apple TV show also, एक season निकला है.
Murderbot.
Uh-huh. And it's
I'll.
it's hilarious because it's this bot like it's hacked its own governing module, and so it's
Mm-hmm.
completely independent and out of the control of the corporation, and it's a
Mm-hmm.
bot that's like constantly critiquing and sarcastically commenting on the human nature, on the humans around it.
That's
These
so fun.
sacks. It is so hilarious. It is really funny. And because you're like, हाँ हाँ ऐसे ही तो है.
Yeah.
Like no matter the future we are in. Just so if you go back to the brain,
Yeah.
the neuroglands project.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, so how can you show me a little bit about how you are working on it? Like this is the final part so far, but where is the work in progress part of this?
Work in progress part mein, there has been a couple of refactors that I like. For example, if I open it in mobile view, see upar mein there is a
Hmm.
bar now, and you can change the graphics settings right from this bottom panel,
Nice.
right?
You
So
you
I
were
also
planning to add a conversational aspect also, right?
yes, yes. So I am planning. So before I add the conversational aspect, I also want to ensure like
Mm.
like the chatbot can use the like control the camera and this animations a little. So I am
Mm.
creating those layers, right? For example, how you if you go to the study mode, and let's say you want to see the motor system tour, right? So it will give you a tour of the motor system,
Mm.
right? So this is how, but I want, instead of this being a preset, I want the AI to be able to generate this on the fly and do
Mm.
this animation like this interactive thing as a way to illustrate something,
Mm.
right? So okay, look at this, like it highlights this. So that is something where I would want to go towards. uh,
Conversationally, you're saying. Wow.
yeah, yeah, but last couple of days I just spend a lot of time optimizing the FPS. Now this thing loads around, like if you go into the low settings, this thing
Hmm.
loads in 60 FPS even in iPhones. Like before it used to be a very slow experience,
Yeah, yeah.
right?
I
uh
I saw that.
yeah. So like I figured ki in ultra mode it takes a lot of FPS away. So
Mm.
why not just give you the option to select different graphic settings, right? So if you go to the settings, you can put a lot of different.
So the ability to detect your browser load or the system that you're operating from, that's not that easily
No, that is
doable.
also there. That is also there. It will try to, like it will, like it will look into the first few, like after loading it will look at the FPS for like 1 second, and if it detects the FPS is too low, it will lower the settings.
Nice.
So it is already there. So by default in most phones it should load pretty smoothly. Yeah.
The
So
thing I love about this is, given the complexity of the topic and the complexity of the visuals also,
mhm.
like you've still managed to get the AI to design it with this level of simplicity. It's beautiful.
Yeah, also yeah, definitely. And I like while I have the chance, I will show what I am doing it
I
now.
can't hear you.
So I wanted to show. Hello, hello. Can you hear me now?
Mm. Yeah.
Yeah. So I wanted to show what like it is looking in internally, right? So
Hmm.
there is not much difference apart from that. All this information is now managed by a like Git based content management system, not hard coded. So that way I can add a lot of content without messing with the code base. So I've kind
Mm.
of decoupled the code base from the CMS. And also plans are there to like I have like seriously planned he kind of adding, this is just anatomical structure, right? Anatomy, like I looked at a few like educational videos on neuroscience, and
Mm.
like anatomy is good, but what a lot of neuroscientists later in their career really care about is how the brain functions, right?
Hmm.
So typically like frontal lobe may you will have like, so this part is a bit like argued apparently, is that this precentral gyrus is part of frontal lobe and postcentral is parietal lobe. This is a bit of debate, bit debated, because both of them combinedly control the motor cortex, right? If functionally they are similar, we demarcate this because of this line, this one line. This
Hmm.
demarcate the frontal lobe to the parietal lobe. It's apparently the only line, like in any brain how can you identify, like if someone is a surgeon they have to care about the anatomy, is because this line, this is the only line that goes from the fissure on all the way to this fissure.
Mm.
So that separates the, that's how someone finds this different structures in a real brain. But for understanding how sadness works, a uh, a functional atlas might be more useful for simulating. This anatomy is much more useful
So
for surgeons, etc.
when we start exploring other data sets to bring
Yeah.
into this, how do we do so without loading this system?
So you have to unload something to load something else,
Mm,
right?
I
So
know.
I will unload this brain and load another model. So there is, you can call this a brain engine of sorts,
Mm,
where like you have game engines that are basically for developing games, and you can think of this as a brain engine where the engine kind of knows where everything is relative to the other parts, right? And understand some sort of in there is a data structure to support all of it. But like wahi ki adding something like if like functional stuff to this anatomical structure would mean I have to mess up with the data structures and modify the core engine. So I'm not sure if it answered your question,
No, I think I
but
get the gist. Uh,
yeah.
you so it depends on the choice of the viewer, but you can't really combine two things. Like one of those, I think Dr. Chopra was referring to, right? Which
Hmm.
was if you had to compare scans of a mouse brain and a bird brain,
Hmm.
and then you want to see how music stimulates each brain type.
Yeah, so that would require
So,
us to develop, like I can create multiple views that with different, like then you need fMRIs and not this sort of
mm,
3D meshes, right?
huh.
So fMRIs will have like multiple MRI scans that change over time, and that's how they will plot that fMRI scan. And I recently found there are a few AI projects that tend to take a MRI scan and split this up automatically using AI. Like how
Wow.
like this front, yeah. So for this quality work, I believe there was a human who took those AI generated data sets and fine tuned it further for a like a week non-stop.
What respect, man. Wow.
Yeah, and that guy who runs like a huge shout out brander.org, like he published this whole thing for free.
This is insane.
Like if you look at this, the images were acquired at the Research Imaging Institute, University of Texas Health Service Center at San Antonio, in a Siemens Magnetom Treo 3T system in 2 sessions, each consisting of 6 acquisitions of a T1 weighted images using MPREG sequence with voxel size 0.8, 0.8, 0.8 millimeters. These images were registered and averaged to improve signal to noise ratio as described here. There is some paper, and bias
But
corrected using
at
a
some level, this is the brain of one person alone.
yes, but in 2 scans, the same person.
Oof, okay.
Yeah.
So the
So
world, the
in
world of visual AI learning of neuroscience has to be thankful to one late person's brain scan.
no, not late. It's a live person's brain could be like
Aisa
it's
kya?
just
Seriously?
MRI scan. Yeah, it's an MRI scan. No.
Okay, okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Sorry,
So
man. I think my entire mind just runs off into like I was thinking Pantheon.
yeah, yeah,
But no, no. To be fair, but I think there is research, right, where they've actually taken these micromillimeter slices and scanned each of them, and then created these layers.
I think
Uh,
famously that happened to Albert Einstein.
what?
Yeah. So Albert Einstein explicitly asked everyone to not tamper with his brain, and that was one of his wishes, right? But someone convinced his like years to donate his brain for science. And before he was cremated, his brain was like like cut off, that it was diced into 1 centimeter cubes, and it was donated to various labs for science.
भेजा फ्राई कर दिया आइंस्टाइन का.
Yeah, yeah. Brain was taken. Yeah, yeah, is देखो Wikipedia. The Einstein autopsy was conducted shortly after Harvey removed and weighted the brain at 1230 gram. Harvey then took the brain at a lab of at the University of Pennsylvania, where it dissected into several pieces. Oh, I
Shit.
think not even consent. He just like stole it.
Shit. Insane. For those of you who are watching, please go watch Pantheon, the animated series.
Yeah,
Too good.
even Sam and Elon also recommended this, and and
बड़े
I
लोग
and
बोलेंगे तो सब लोग देखेंगे.
हाँ, मैं वही बोल रहा हूँ कि आप आप मुझे लास्ट ईयर को वो कर दिए थे, रेकमेंड कर दिए थे, और मैंने लास्ट ईयर देख भी लिया था। और उसके बाद सैम
सैम चाचा
सैम
ने बोल दिया.
Elon, and even Paras also like was fascinated by Pantheon.
Hmm. Another curious exploration, like a thought. So recently, I went for this Beethoven's Ninth Symphony performance, and I really enjoy watching or
Hmm.
listening to these live performances, especially orchestral.
Hmm.
Um, and I was just thinking, like here was this guy, young and beginning to lose hearing, which is like
Hmm.
so fundamental to creating music.
Hmm.
And imagine like his battle between sadness and motivation to want to continue creating music even though he couldn't hear. Like
Hmm. Yeah.
I recently also met this artist.
Hmm.
And you remember I told you about Pagal Canvas.
Yeah.
Yeah. So one of the host artists over there, uh, he's been an artist since childhood, but
Hmm.
somewhere along the way, as a young adult, he ended up
Hmm.
burning his hands.
Oh.
And for a good year, he couldn't draw. Like he had to teach himself to write with the left hand, and
Hmm.
then slowly get back to art. I was
Hmm.
like, phew, just imagine that sadness. Like there's physical pain, sure,
Hmm. Hmm.
but then there's also the sadness that you can't pursue the thing that you love the most. You want to
Yeah.
spend time doing the most. रिग्रेट भी आता है ना सैडनेस में.
पूछ लेता हूँ. So, one fascination behind me chasing neuroscience is this interview from Ilya with Dwarkesh Patel, where he mentioned that emotions might be why humans are this intelligent.
Say that again.
Ilya claimed that, like, just speculated that emotions might be why humans are this intelligent.
Hmm.
So, for example, when you have a gut feeling or something, that your brain's way of judging or prioritizing some signal over another, right?
Mhm.
And the ability for the brain to run simulations, obviously, uh, like we run mental simulations, then say something. In fact, everything you and I are saying is post facto. The brain has simulated the multiple paths and convert that this is the word to go, right? To pick.
It's
And
already a prediction machine.
yeah, yeah, it's like it's always simulating in that way, like because like from sound to light everything has a latency. The brain is always predicting, so we're never living in the true present but a predicted present.
Yeah. A manifested present.
Manifested present, yes. uh, so yeah, coming back to the question, does regret also come under stress sadness? From a neuroscientific perspective, regret is a specialized, more complex cousin of sadness.
Hmm.
They run on slightly different circuits. If sadness is pain about a loss, regret is pain about a loss plus agency.
This is super interesting. Pure sadness is often passive.
Yeah,
So when something has happened to you, regret is active because you've done it.
yeah.
Mhm. Yeah, I
I
never thought, I never paid attention to that.
yeah. What, so it involves a calculation of what could have happened if you had acted differently.
Hmm.
So in terms of anatomical addition, the orbitofrontal cortex. So orbitofrontal cortex would be where, the orbitofrontal cortex would be here. So this is the front side. This is the
Mhm.
back side. So it's the posterior side and this is the anterior side. So inferior बोले तो नीचे से, right? So inferior का ऊपर, like superior.
When sadness registers, like where does sadness register? Given that we are talking about a spectrum, where does
Yeah.
it register in the?
So I think first it registers in the limbic system.
Acha.
Like, it's very deep, like it's part of the deep brain, like the monkey brain of sorts,
Hmm.
right? So even mice have hippocampus, amygdala, and all those things. So when OFC calculates that the alternative outcome would have been better than the current reality, it sends a specific error signal. This signal is what we feel as regret. Oh, it's like, okay, if it has multiple outcomes and we are not living in the most optimal present, and we kind of feel our own agency into the root cause. Like if the root cause says कि okay, मेरा गलती है, then it's regret, otherwise it's pain. So in pure
The concept
sadness,
of self-sympathy also would probably come somewhere around.
very
रिग्रेट के बाद से सेल्फ सिंपैथी आ जाता है ना कुछ लोगों का.
yeah. So then you have the hippocampus who regurgitates memories. And coming back to your what you say just said, like self sympathy. I think I'll ask that next. Where does regret connect to self sympathy? Look for comparison to impossible fantasy. It regrets turn into toxic shame. Damn. So it's a programming error, guys. Like it's literally a bug.
टेक्निकल लोचा.
Technical locha. Hormonal. Regret and self are essentially competing signals. Regret is a
Fascinating.
stress state, while self sympathy is a safety state, focusing on the recovery. The VMPFC,
But
ventromedial
it's
prefrontal.
sometimes self sympathy is also this, you know, sort of cannibalizing situation, right?
Yeah.
Like we find ourselves talking about it when someone's settled into the comfort of this self care
Mm-hmm.
and not willing to change the situation, not willing to take action,
Yeah.
stuck in limbo.
Yeah.
The sadness of a limbo. That would be interesting next.
Yeah. Definitely. Like, so currently, coming back, as we so it said, as we discussed, orbitofrontal cortex is shouting, "You made a mistake. The other option was better," and self
Hmm.
sympathy is like assigning value back to yourself.
Mhm.
So the VMPFC has a direct line to the amygdala to move from regret to self sympathy. The VMPFC must inhibit the amygdala. It literally sends a break signal that says, yes, we messed up, but we are safe and we
Hmm.
are. Okay. So regret is this signal, the self sympathy is the exact opposite signal.
Hmm.
So eventually, at some point, the other signal, cell sympathy signal, wins, and we feel that as that shift.
So looks like
Okay.
Jay is out.
Yeah, I think how long has the stream been? 1 hour 15 minutes. I think after some time we'll wrap up if he's not returning.
What was the last thing that I asked, which was around
The
limbo?
limbo.
Yeah, limbo feels like a precursor to depression, right? At
Yeah,
least in some cases.
there are certain cases where someone is sad or feeling regret, where they lose agency or the will to act. Right? How is that connected? Is that a good prompt? I sent it. Sorry.
Mm, good prompt, bhej diya.
भेज दिया. I didn't do it. My brain did.
Your brain already predicted it.
Yeah. So we are the only creatures where the brain is learning about a brain.
Yeah, that is true. You know, a curious thing to explore after this would be sadness and shrooms.
Yeah, I think I will save that for like when Jay returns and we will do the
Yeah.
stream.
Can
Yeah.
you just scroll up again? I missed that first part. Nahi,
Okay.
हाँ,
The state where sadness or regret becomes so heavy.
avolition. Acha, wow, never heard of that word.
Okay.
Very heavy
Psychomotor
word.
retardation.
Oof, psychomotor retardation. Huh. Acha, this is what we say we are in a funk.
Could be.
You know, psychomotor retardation. We're like, पता नहीं क्या हो रहा है.
Yeah, you are a psychomotor retard. Sorry. Like when we can tell it this to like sound like a good insult.
I know. So, like this is just generating more man in my head. So, you know, the sometimes when we talk about certain pains in the body, especially around the back, neck, and everything, and we say that many of these pains are associated like psychosomatic,
Hmm.
you know, and invariably, like I'm not knowledgeable about this, but like, is there a connection between sadness and the psychosomatic state
Yeah, it
that
already
leads
explained.
to?
It already explained.
अच्छा,
It
कहाँ पर?
explained एकदम शुरू में. So where it said, where like if you look at the functional part, it said
Mhm.
this molecule regulate the mood and anxiety. When it drops, the threshold for pain lowers, making you feel more vulnerable and irritable. Right. So कहाँ पे तो लिखा था एक सेकंड लेट मी फाइंड इट.
Control F, Command F.
Back pain. So yeah, depression increases physical pain. If you're sad, your serotonin drops. Serotonin helps get or inhibit physical pain signals in the spinal cord. With less serotonin, your volume now for physical pain is turned up, which is why depressed individuals often suffer for random back aches and joint pain. Chronic physical pain wears out the dopamine system, leading to anhedonia, inability to feel joy, creating a feedback loop.
I wonder if
So
anhedonia has some relation to hedonism.
yeah,
Like it's
like
the opposite, right?
yeah, pretty sure that's where the name comes from.
Man, there's so much that we know we don't know.
Yeah, And this is from just a little, like, we in neuroscience, the state of the art is just 1 cubic millimeter of a mouse brain has been mapped fully. Like, we just
Hmm.
know we are just working off of a vague map, not a 3D map, high resolution map, like in terms of neuroscience.
Haven't they recently done something for the fruit fly also?
Yeah, the fruit fly's brain is now fully mapped.
Hmm.
And like that's the state of the
Connectome,
art.
right? They call it the connectome.
Yeah, like I would be really happy if I could import that data set and like have the entire like circuit shown up, but I'm not sure if the computers can handle it.
Hmm. Have they actually been able to measure the or observe the neuronal interactions?
Not sure. I have not read the paper fully.
Not seen that, but read it. I'm not even, don't even know if it's there. Handbrake.
Yeah, the basal ganglia.
Some of these words sound very cool, yeah. Basal
Yeah,
ganglia.
my favorite is Broca's area.
What is that?
It's for language processing.
Hmm.
Yeah, it's just around the temples, where Broca's area frontal lobe crucial for language production, specifically forming sentences with proper grammar and syntax. Located in the dominant hemisphere, usually left. Damage here causes Broca's aphasia, leading to halting, effortful speech, through though comprehension is often spared.
Hmm.
So,
I've always been curious, in martial arts, they say
mhm.
this is also one of those attack points, the
Oh,
temples. It's very, it like it's vulnerable.
mhm. So do people who get hit repeatedly have less language abilities over time? Like, does that happen? Not sure.
I don't know. We should see if someone's researched boxers. उनका
Yeah.
तो होता है third.
So I think boxers would be boxers where that boxers get blunt force trauma, which causes concussions, right? I'm not sure if that will have direct impact. I
Oh no,
think
but in martial arts,
mhm,
there are those attacks where
you get sharp
these
hits.
these points are like targeted,
Yeah.
jabbed.
Yeah, so yeah, this is what one of my favorite parts, because like look at
Can you
I
show
how I
this in your model, in the model that you
I'm
built?
not sure because it's not a like it would be somewhat around here, but it's not the atlas does not in like brokers area especially highlight nahi karta hai.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah, but
पूरा
if
तो कर
you
दिया, ये छोड़ दिया, बाप रे, इतना important.
I think this ये लिखता है like parse opercularisis part of broca's area critical for speech production, and if you like
Hmm.
again part of broca's area involved in like because this is an anatomical atlas and not a functional atlas,
Hmm.
so that's why it's like does not break it into like motor cortex broca's area all this it like it's literally a map.
Just
It does not.
yesterday, I came across this video on Twitter. I think it
Mm-hmm,
was just a forward about. I think it was by this guy Brian Romel.
mm-hmm,
Follow him a lot. Quite a geeky handle.
mm-hmm,
Nerdy actually, more than geeky. But in that,
mm-hmm,
he showed how this guy who suffered from some brain injury and had to be operated in the brain wakes up,
mm-hmm,
and the
mm-hmm,
guy who can only speak English, has only spoken English throughout. When he
mm-hmm.
wakes up, he's speaking fluent Spanish.
Damn.
just like, and his wife is like, recording him, like, where did you pick this up? His entire response, he's understanding what she's saying, what she's asking, but his
Mm-hmm.
entire response is in pure Spanish. It's like wild. And she's
Oh.
telling him, when did you pick
Mm-hmm.
up Spanish? You never
Mm-hmm.
knew any other language.
Mm-hmm.
And he, like, I don't know how to respond to that in Spanish. Wild.
He forgot English,
I
or
mean,
he could speak both.
I just saw that video clip, so I didn't go beyond that.
Hmm.
I'm sure there's a case study on that.
I will find it out.
Yeah, but we've seen this, right? There are so many case studies where people who've experienced some sort of head trauma have ended
Mm-hmm.
up, they're recovered with
Mm-hmm.
entirely new skills and capabilities that they had zero connection to.
Yeah.
Such a curious thing. It's so
So
fascinating.
on the ability for brain's neuroplasticity, so there were, I think I told you this, but I would like to say this on stream. One of my most fascinating case studies is that, like, during epilepsy, parts of the brain, like epilepsy or seizures, there are some cases where parts of the brain starts dying, right? And if it happens early enough in the age, so what the surgeons do is goes and splits it up, like they cut out the dead part, right? So that person is functioning only with half brain, right? So you would expect that person to not be able to do certain things, right? Because they
Hmm.
are only operating with half a brain. Like if your language processing happens in the
There
left,
was
right?
there's that I think from one of the African nations they showed, right, this war uh, victim, half
Yeah,
the brain is missing,
yeah,
and he's still
correct.
living a like somewhat normal life.
Yeah, that's exactly what happens. Like their comprehension is like very slightly measurably slower, but apart from that, if they, even if you cut out half of the brain, right,
Hmm.
the brain just adapts, like does everything. You can do math, you can do music, you can like memorize numbers and all that, right?
So wild.
So like the, and like
Goes to
like
show कि storage वहां पे कुछ हो नहीं रहा है, storage कहीं और है.
हाँ, and imagine like they typically say कि your like right eye, like right visual field is processed by your left brain, and left visual field is processed by your right brain. Even that doesn't happen. That person can see whole thing.
Yeah,
Like you,
yeah,
he can control like both arms and legs using only half the brain. And
yeah.
like I don't know how
But
that
that
happens, but
particular,
if
I don't know if you're referring to the same case, but I think that person who lost that half, that
huh,
particular eye also was missing.
no, then like because like not I, right? Like your, so if I'll show you the diagrams actually. Uh, optic nerve to brain. कुछ तो diagram होगा.
ये
So
वाला,
yeah,
हाँ, चौथा
हाँ.
वाला.
So you see in both eyes, the right side of the image is reflected on the retina to the left side, right?
Hmm.
So your like eye basically sends two signals, one to the left brain, one to the right brain.
Hmm.
So does your right eye, right? So both of this left, like left signal goes to the left brain, and right signals goes to the right brain,
Smart.
right? So it's not कि left eye का signal left में right में जा रहा है. It's like the left, like right side of your vision goes to the left brain, left side of the vision goes to the right side. Like if you can see, right, it's the object. ऑब्जेक्ट का आधा इस ब्रेन में प्रोसेस होता है, ऑब्जेक्ट का बाकी आधा उस ब्रेन में प्रोसेस होता है,
Uh-huh. And then
राइट?
it
सो
stitches them together.
then it stitches them together. So it's not
Hmm.
like a right eye left brain में प्रोसेस हो रहा है, it's right visual field left brain में प्रोसेस हो रहा है.
Hmm.
So even if that
Super
person has
amazing.
one eye, even if that person has one eye, their eye still had to reroute the whole thing to be processed in one half.
Hmm.
So this is a very common misconception even I had until I like dug deep. Okay, it's not the right eye, it's the right visual field that gets processed.
Hmm.
I think the need was that like if you have one eye, then losing one eye or one brain, like it loses redundancy. So the brain literally split the signal and do this crazy routing.
Hmm. Cool. I think this is a lot of
Yeah,
learning for me for one night.
yeah, for sure. And
I'm going to
even
shut down.
yeah,
Take care.
chalo, ciao.
We'll sync in the next many hours.
Yes, yes. We'll try to build something in the next one.
Yes, I'd love to. Uh,
Yeah.
yeah, definitely. I think the thing that I built just now, like, yeah, very, it's great what we can do with AI, but oh my God, I want to
You
redo it.
at this point you still need to know how to do it, right?
Yeah, yeah. I think being
Yeah.
able to ask and being able to give the right instructions, not an
And
easy thing.
sometimes I feel knowing how to give the right instruction, often you need to go into the more theoretical side of computer science to
Mm.
add, or if only to just pick up the terms, right?
Yeah,
ये
yeah,
ऐसे करता है, ये
100%.
ऐसे करता है. If you just pick up the terms, like, and to pick up the terms you have to write code yourself, uh, and just then like the entire vibe coding thing become so much easier. And I think it's a lot about like just critical problem solving on the spot,
Mm.
right? So yeah.
ठीक है. Okay. To everyone who joined, thank you.
Thank you.
Charmaine,
And
live long
thank
and
you
prosper.
from behalf of Jay, and who due to the power issue he couldn't be here.
Power hug.
Power hug.
Chalo, all right.
Yeah.
Good night.
Yeah. Good night.